everybody, Dr. James Petrick, upper cervical chiropractor, here to talk to you about 3 keys to better oxygenation. Oxygen is the number one piece of fuel that our cells need, and we're all going to be breathing all the time anyways, so why not learn how to get a little bit better at it? When we're intentional about our breathing for a while, just like learning to walk, it becomes that much more ingrained. So let's go ahead and get into it. 3 keys right now. The first one is, we want to start from the top here. Literally, we want to breathe through our nose more. Notice here, you have the pharynx and larynx. Those 2 holes come in from your nose and your mouth. And the bigger hole is the pharynx or the nose. And so you really want to try to block off that mouth hole so that the air doesn't come down and around and somehow sort of get trapped in this area. It filters the air. You have all these little hairs going all the way back, and it filters the air. The second thing is it humidifies the air. It's already preconditioned by the time it gets down your trachea and into your lungs. Versus breathing out of your mouth, the air is already, it's still, I should say, basically at air temperature, and it hasn't been cooked up yet. And even though you don't have temperature sensors in the lining of your trachea and your lungs, rest assured your body still does have to adapt and do its best to get that air heated up to body temperature. And it's just one more thing that your body has to adapt to. We're already seem to be overly bombarded with semisonic stimuli. So in terms of physiology, you got to breathe anyways. Let's breathe through our nose so that air is already cooked up and it's much more in sync, more usable than if we were just breathing through our mouth. Be thankful, by the way, that you're not a Spartan. Spartans in training, they would take down about this much water, and then they'd be forced to run for several miles and then spit out the water at the end. And the reason for that is they had to learn how to breathe through their nose, to breathe deeply and use their bellies so that they could build up their oxygen reserves upon going into battle. They would have no idea how long their battles would last. So that brings us into the second topic. We want to use our bellies more. We want to belly breathe more. Well, why is that? You've probably heard of that. We've got to belly breathe. The reason is because of the alveoli, or oxygen receptor sites in your lungs, are located in the bottom 1/3 of your lungs. And so what that means is we want to use our diaphragm, that flat, underrated muscle. It's got a large surface area. It sits right underneath the lungs, and it goes down when we breathe in, and it goes up when we breathe out. What you really want to do is you just want to get better at breathing through your belly. If you're conscientious, someone can see your belly going in and out. If you face them, they're really not going to see your belly going in and out, okay? You want to control that airflow just like the accordion player or the bagpipe player. They're not constantly trying to bring air in. They're managing the airflow, and you need to do that too. Because when you breathe too rapidly, you're not allowing hemoglobin to do its job. You need to take, this brings our third point, longer breaths, less breaths. If you're 5 feet tall, you should be breathing in about 4 seconds, pause, and then breathe out for 5 seconds. That's 6 repetitions per minute. But it's hemoglobin, get this, it's the carbon dioxide rather that loosens the bonds between oxygen and hemoglobin within our red blood cells. So the carbon dioxide is key. If we're breathing in and out too fast, carbon dioxide is not able to do its full job. So we got to be aware of that so that we can get maximal oxygen off of the binding sites inside of the hemoglobin. We're going to breathe through our nose better. We are going to use our bellies, and we are going to breathe slower. Doing this, as I mentioned, not only helps with tissue repair, but it actually helps your brain work better. It helps you to activate more of your prefrontal cortex. The vagus nerve, cranial nerve 10, which comes out the base of the skull, right up here at the top, it goes down and then it innervates every single major organ of your body up to the first part of the large intestine. And the reason that's important is because 80 to 90% of that nerve channel is actually incoming information up into the brain. See, nerves are either outgoing or they're incoming. And they're usually about 50-50. But that's actually 80 to 90% incoming. So when we breathe with our belly, what that actually signals to our brain is that everything is okay. The war is over. The field generals are communicating to the higher commander off-site that it's okay, the conditions on the field are just fine, go ahead and relax, it's safe, there's no reason to have stress. And when we're in this state, and you know when you're in that state, it turns on your prefrontal cortex, you're in much better sync, your gut feelings, I feel it in my gut, is much more in line with what you're actually thinking. We want to tap into this for better, sustained, calm, focused, directed energy throughout the day. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. Prior Lake Spinal Care, 952-226-7222, or email us at info@priorlakespinalcare.com.